Stupid work shirt.
Kyle West is wearing his stupid work shirt here today on the Purple
Oh,
People
we're live.
podcast.
Oh, hello.
Yes, we
Yeah.
got that going. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's show. It is Monday, October 5th, here on the Purple People podcast. Week 4 is in the books. The Vikings got their first win, and this is episode number 409. Turned down for what?
What?
And the Texans, the poor Texans. At least we're not as bad as they are, right?
Hey, we got our first win, and the team we beat just fired their head coach.
All true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, breaking news if you didn't hear, this is like 10 minutes ago. The Texans have fired head coach Bill O'Brien / general manager, question mark. I guess he was the general manager as well in some capacity. I don't know if he still was, but at some point during his tenure there, he was there. It says Romeo Crennel is expected to be the interim head coach. That's cool. He's got experience.
Oh, Romeo Crennel is like the default. We have fired our head coach. Please take over for an interim period of time for us. He's did that for what? Cleveland? Who else has he done that for, Adam?
I don't know, but it seems like a lot.
I know there's more than just Cleveland. I know Romeo Crennel has done that for a whole handful of teams.
He's been around a minute.
Also, I would like to meet the person who gets their breaking news from the Purple People podcast and buy them a t-shirt.
That'd be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's coming in. It's doing a thing again. We might have technical difficulty today. I'm not sure whose problem it is. I'll take the blame because why not? Because my computer is acting stupid. The Vikings won yesterday, 31-23 in Houston, Texas. I was actually at that game. We're going to give away some awards here and kind of give you my feel for the place. But we started doing some different things around the show, and I'm going to go ahead and get that going right now. So we'll give you about a minute and do a recap of what you felt watching this game, during the game, and now after. So whoever wants to go first, dive right in.
Adam, you want to start?
I don't really know what's going on, but okay. I'll be honest. I came into this game thinking that the Vikings still were.
Adam
team.
froze up, or is just thinking really hard.
Am I not sound coming through?
I can hear you. It's just really choppy. We may have to reschedule this show because this internet is just not working.
Well, that's really poopy. So yeah, I guess I figured that this was a game that someone eventually had to win. Two winless teams clashing in a game that honestly both teams made enough mistakes where neither really deserved to win. But Minnesota, I guess, made less mistakes and was able to capitalize on a turnover and make things happen. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the Vikings if this is their new strategy. And this is the offense and defense that they're going to continue to put forth and let grow and develop. But it's going to be tough if this is what the game plan is. There might not be a lot more wins on the schedule.
I appreciate that, man. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get this going and say thank you in the chat, too, for everybody giving their input. Yeah, I was at the game yesterday, and I can't lie, man. It's nice to see that the Vikings finished a game and didn't give it away, although they damn sure tried. It felt like
they did their best.
There were some good spots there. I guess in a nutshell, I would say I really like when this team has turnovers. If you give Dalvin Cook the ball a lot, good things happen. That's weird. Despite all the hate that Kirk Cousins gets left and right, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too, he can throw the ball pretty much wherever he wants. It just depends on the situation, which kind of sucks. But I saw him make some really good throws yesterday. The one where he peeled out and got it to Rudy was just ridiculous. And by the way, Justin Jefferson is legit. It wasn't just a fluke. I don't know many guys that have had a fluke 175-yard receiving game. But here he is again with another 100-yard game. And, this could be a good addition, even though the Vikings still kind of miss Stephon Diggs a little bit. I think this is a good pickup, and I really like that guy. I'm not happy with the refs, though.
is one of the most common fish in the ocean. So if you go out fishing for a fluke, odds are you might catch one.
There's a piece of trivia for you. Fish-related trivia on the Purple
The
People
Office
podcast.
and fish-related. Gotta love The Office.
No, my big takeaway from this one, to piggyback a little bit on what Kyle Smith said right there, was it's really nice to see Justin Jefferson having success for Minnesota. He got off to a slow, kind of a slow start. And as a fan, considering Laquan Treadwell was a bust. Cordero Patterson had his moments. He was good on special teams. He'd make a play here or there. But for a first-round talent, it never really panned out for Cordero Patterson. And so it's nice to see Justin Jefferson get acclimated to the NFL and go out there and have some good back-to-back performances for the team. I want to see Jefferson find the end zone a little bit more, but just simply putting up the yardage is a good place to start for him. So I'm excited to see him grow as a receiver for Minnesota and to not have to worry about him being labeled a bust for this team. Like you said, we all loved Stephon Diggs when he was with Minnesota. And so it's not the same with Justin Jefferson, but we're going to hope that the rookie can get there and that he can be able to put up those kind of numbers for the Vikings.
Yeah, the last rookie wide receiver to really give the Vikings any kind of hope like this was Percy Harvin.
Mm-hmm.
And even Harvin had that cap and had his issues. And I don't think Justin Jefferson, right now, I have not seen his cap or his issues. So it's exciting, but it's also interesting to wait and see how this is all going to work out with him.
Yeah. Jerseya still sucks.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it, Jerome. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ryan, Aline, Jerome. Thanks for joining in. But I'm just going to say it now. I don't care how they do it. I mean, I do in a way. I'm being loose here, but I don't care how they do it. They need to get Josh Klein back, and they need to go sign Snacks Harrison. I mean, I don't know how many times we're going to say it every week until we push it into existence. What I did see yesterday at the game, and what I'm hoping that we see going forward, is the more this team plays, the better they will gel. There are a ton of new pieces. And I think there was an article that came out recently in the Viking Age where Adam is affiliated with, where it says, are we really surprised that the season was going like it was? I'm certainly not. With COVID and everything too, you have a lot of new young guys, so it's going to take some adjustment. Welcome to the NFL. Here's really good, players that you have to cover or play against. But for the most part, I think what the Vikings did in this game was they saw how the Texans can be beat, and they just did a really good job of playing to their weaknesses. And I don't know. I thought that they played a pretty well-rounded game. So to transition from there, let's do some game balls and donkeys.
Just think really quick. If we had 2 or 3 preseason games under our belt, this team would be ready to go for the regular season instead of being, what are we?
1-3?
Well, yeah, 1-3 right now.
I think at a minimum with preseason, this team would be 2-2, just like they were last year at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe 3-1. I don't think that they would have beat the Packers. I think the Colts game could have went a little differently, but
I mean, it's no excuse. Every team is under the same scenario that the Vikings are, but you gotta feel like having at least 1 or 2 preseason games really would have helped this team out, considering how young of a roster Minnesota has.
Oh yeah.
Well, if training camp was normal and preseason had existed, odds are BC Johnson would not have been the Viking starter at wide receiver.
Yeah.
And we'd have seen a lot more from these younger players that are contributing, but are finally trying to find their way into contributing. Like DJ Wanham, who got some snaps on Sunday, and he had a nice sack he was just completely left alone on. And yeah, you have to take those plays, and on tape, they don't look really optimistic, but that's a young kid getting his feet wet in the NFL.
Right on.
It's a big step for them.
Yeah, somebody made the comment here. What did he say? Falling backwards is solid. Did a 360. Yeah, I was there. I have a great video. I think I'm going to post it up on the page. I got a lot of good videos, and thank you to the iPhone camera for being great for zooming in.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of good videos, pictures yesterday. It was just a lot of fun. And shout out to the Houston fans. I feel like if that game was in Dallas or in Philly, there would have been some really shitty human beings there. That's just me being a homer and kind of being biased. But the Houston fans were super nice. For the one or two guys that made a snide comment here or there, everybody was pretty cool because everybody was screaming "Fire Bill" at the end of the game, which just happened. But yeah,
Nice.
give him a quick shout out there. But I'm going to give my game ball this game to Dalvin Cook. I know it's kind of sucky to say this because Christian McCaffrey's not playing, but Dalvin Cook's the best running back in football right now. And you know why I love this? Because we paid him, and this is what you want to see from him. You don't want to see him get injured. You want to see him get fed the ball, be the bell cow. And he was talking a lot of shit to the linebackers yesterday. You could hear everything, and they were going at it. And then yesterday was kind of a statement for him. He didn't get the big breakout run that he wanted, but when you're getting 6, 7, 8 yards a chunk, just keep feeding him the ball. The dude's a monster, and he hasn't really been too involved in the passing game yet. So I love the kid. Give him the ball a bunch, and I think he ran the ball more times than Kirk threw it. So that's how you win with this team.
Had Delvin not gotten the wind knocked out of him, he'd had another touchdown on the day.
Yep. Ooh, here we go. Some game balls and donkeys already.
You gonna give away a game ball there, West?
I am ass backwards this week, and we'll be watching the game as soon as we get done recording. So I haven't seen enough of it yet to give out a game ball and donkey, but maybe I'll post mine up over on the Facebook page when I get done watching it. So
Okay.
I'm gonna defer this week.
All right. There are really three ways I could go with this. Thielen, Jefferson, and Eric Kendricks, and maybe Anthony Harris. Those would all be really solid options. But I'm going to stick with the player that I've just been constantly calling elite every week on Twitter as making plays all over the field. Eric Kendricks is just too good. That guy's too good. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have help at linebacker. It doesn't matter if Harrison Smith gets booted out of the game. None of that matters. When you got Eric Kendricks in the field making plays, I think he had, 10.5 tackles this game?
Yeah, he had double digits.
Was it 12?
And it's getting out of hand. His ability to tackle is just insane. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Eric Kendricks.
Eric Kendricks, 12 total tackles, 7 by himself, and 1 pass defense. The pass defense was beautiful.
Ridiculous.
I would have liked to have seen him and Chad Greenway on the field together. That would have been a fun combination.
It really would have.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Remember when they tried Greenway at middle linebacker?
That did not work out so well.
Oh, that was something.
Even though the Vikings kind of sort of wanted to stress you out like they do in every game that they usually win, there wasn't too many things where I was like, oh, this is absolutely terrible. There were some mistakes yesterday, sure. Kind of thought about Holton Hill, but I'm going to give it to Dan Bailey. That's another missed field goal, and I'm sorry, man, but if the stadium's not packed, you got to make that, man. He was making them in warm-ups all day long from that far. I don't want to see him miss it because what's going to happen is the Vikings are going to get down to the end of the season and be like fighting for that 7th wild card, and they're going to miss a field goal and lose a game, and then you're going to be like, well, what the fuck, man? That's really the only way I could justify it. I know Adam will have something probably better in the donkey department.
50 plus with pressure in his face. I can't really do that. I can't. And of course, there's always the urge to give a donkey to the ref who ejected Harrison Smith. And that's, I don't know how much lower Smith could have really gotten and still made a hit. Because when the receiver turned, his head went low, and I don't know. That was just one of the situations where it was bad. It was pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, Drew Samia wasn't good at all. Shamar Stephen couldn't really stop the middle of the field again.
You've been questioning the Vikings' obsession with him, Adam.
I don't get it. I really don't. Yeah. Because the Texans' run is awful. Their run game is terrible. But yet they had games where they had runs where they got big chunks of yardage, and They averaged a pretty nice average for the game, for them anyway. And it should have been much more easily contained, but
You think it's just a matter of Minnesota not really having the depth, or to switch him out?
well, it stinks losing Linval Joseph because people sometimes forget how good he is.
Yeah.
And then bring in Michael Pierce and having him opt out, that hurt big time as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when your third option pretty much is out there on
Starting.
the field, what can you do?
Yeah, it's true. Very true. Michael Pierce will be a big get for this team when he comes back next year. That's a big part of the defense out there. That, like you said, Linval Joseph was a big part of this team too. We really miss him in purple. I really wish he could have stuck around. Big fan of Linval.
Yeah, it's weird too. We're talking about the stopping the run and having that big body in the middle, and you think about
my Apple Watch just Googled Linval Joseph for me.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, here I'm with you, Arlene. We need to do something. Make the attempt, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But and it's no slight on Shamar Stephen, but some of these guys are backups, man, and you've got them starting, and it's just not working out. They're not starting caliber guys, because if they were, they would have beat out the starters that were on the team before. I don't know how else to put that. Oh, that's not good news. Thanks, Goldprod.
We need Tom Johnson. I'm telling you.
Go get him, dude. And you know what pissed me off? We put this in the other day, and I put it in the group chat between the three of us on Facebook. But Jeremiah Searle says, "Hey, Vikings." He tags the Vikings on Twitter. Says, "I think I can still play right guard." If that doesn't scream your right guard is fucking terrible, I don't know what it is. And I'm sure that sucks for Drew Samia if he saw that. But I don't care if you're a CrossFitter now and you've lost 20 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever. Put him in there because he can't be that bad. I've never seen an offensive lineman get a grade of 1.8 before, but it was awful.
I remember when we were doing our draft coverage and the second round came along, and I was kind of confused why the Vikings drafted an offensive tackle instead of an interior lineman.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still a little confused by that, especially since they let Josh Klein walk, and last year was brutal, and this year isn't much better, if any. So I don't know. I'm not really sure where the Vikings can do this, because right now their run blocking, according to Pro Football Focus, is ranked 22nd in the league. Yet somehow Dalvin Cook's breaking these runs and getting some good solid yardage. So something special there, and it's not that offensive line.
It's Kirk Cousins handing the ball off so perfectly. No, he wasn't bad yesterday. But yeah, that's what they need, something on both sides. You need to plug up the middle on the D line, and you need to fix the guard situation on the offensive line. I don't see, and I'm just going to tell you, I've been wanting to talk about this and trying to find a good segue, but if this is how the team's going to be in a snapshot of kind of sort of what they're going to be most of the season, they're not going to get over 500. You've got at the Seahawks coming up. Falcons could win. At the Packers. Lions maybe. At the Bears, where they're traditionally terrible. Cowboys maybe. Panthers are tough. Jaguars are not the Jaguars that they used to be. At the Buccaneers. Bears, at the Saints. They might win 4 games in that stretch. And it's just frustrating, because I feel like they're going to find some way to blame it on COVID and opt-outs, but really what they did was mismanage some of the talent and not go out and try harder. And that to me is what pisses me off for the personnel that they have. Because other pieces, they're great. The safeties are good. The wide receivers are awesome. The running back's great, but they've voided so many major holes, and they haven't really made the attempt yet. They're just like, we'll just see how it works.
Losing Barr and Joseph and Smith, or not Smith, but Waynes and Rhodes and
Alexander.
That defense lost so many people this year. And it's just, I'm honestly surprised they're doing as well as they can for what they're putting out on the field, because wow, what they had at talent-wise and what they've moved on from and what they brought in, that that's going to need time to acclimate. It's going to need time. These young cornerbacks need time.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not get any in the preseason.
We didn't have a flashy name. We didn't call us the Legion of Boom defense or anything like that. Because media
Zim
don't
Reapers.
Zim Reapers. But I mean, ESPN isn't out there calling us the Zim Reapers or anything like that. But we lost as much talent as what like the Legion of Boom defense when they got broke up. Like we lost just equally as much talent like as what Seattle did. It's a hell of a rebuild out there for Vikings, for the 2020 Minnesota Vikings. Like you said, we just got gutted with talent out there. And you're even seeing guys like, it was time for Minnesota to move on from Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes is having success out there playing in another defense.
I believe he's Pro Football Focus's top-rated cornerback right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll fluctuate. I'm sure he'll have a game or two there, but the way they're playing and the way it's rolling, they're doing great things in Indianapolis. And I hate it because Phillip Rivers and his terrible throwing motion are going to be in the mix to go to the playoffs now. But you're right. And the worst part about it is you saw what this team could do last year if they have all the pieces or most of the pieces with big names. Corner was a little shaky at times, but if you have the pieces and they can figure the formula out, they can go into a place like New Orleans where they had no business winning, win a game on the road, and then have a pretty formidable fight against the NFC representative in the Super Bowl for at least half the game. But this team, I feel like they played down to their potential yesterday or their opponent's potential. And I feel like we're going to go into this primetime game Sunday. Seattle's going to beat the shit out of them, and it's going to get ugly because Russell Wilson's playing the best I've ever seen him play. DK Metcalf is a grown-ass man. It's going to be rough, but we're trying to celebrate a win here. We don't want to look forward and be too doom and gloom, but I'd like to talk about Justin Jefferson because this kid's a beast and really excited for whatever the future holds for him here in Minnesota. Yesterday, he had 5 targets, 4 catches for 103 yards and a long of 29. I mean, he's just finding ways to toy with guys. His footwork's really good. He can get separation after he breaks speed. I'll post it up on our Facebook page of the little turnaround catch. Kirk Cousins is building trust with him, and you can see it. And I love that for the obvious statement I'm going to make here, but he doesn't have to force feed the ball to Adam Thielen because when he starts forcing the ball, the dude's going to turn it over. Let's just call it what it is. So I like this kid a lot.
Yeah, we've seen that in the season opener when Cousins was just focused on Thielen. We love Adam Thielen, but you got to spread the ball around, and we've got other talent on the team. So I do think that it looks like Jefferson and Thielen are going to be a good combination for the Vikings, for Kirk Cousins.
It's that ability to separate and know where your receiver is going to be.
Yeah.
If you look at 2 great examples of this, there was a slant and go by Justin Jefferson where he had a nice long catch. And then you got to see the complete opposite on a nice quick curl route where that was pure timing. So when you've got players that can execute that aren't one-trick ponies on the route tree, you can open up so many things. And having Thielen and Jefferson both be able to do that are going to open things up for other guys. So we're going to need other guys to step up and make plays. Kyle Rudolph, he's been making a play here and there. But BC Johnson, Irv Smith Jr., even Dalvin Cook, they need to step up in this receiving game. And for God's sake, Minnesota, spend some time in practice and learn how to run a screen. It's week 4. You still haven't gotten one right.
Right. We've heard so much about Irv Smith. Oh, he lights it up in practice. Oh, in practice, Irv Smith.
This was supposed to be his breakout year. Everybody was hyping him.
And he was on the field a lot more yesterday than Kyle Rudolph.
At some point, you have to actually break out.
The potential. You can't have potential for too long before that potential just turns into wasted opportunities.
Right. Otherwise, Minnesota's going to be drafting another tight end next year.
Yeah, this is funny. I got there to this game, and J.J. Watt's like walking around like he's angry at the world, probably because his team hadn't won a game yet, and doing warm-ups around our kickers. And I was like, man, this is normally the time when the first 10 rows of seats aren't blocked off, where he would throw some passes to people. But the Vikings did a very good job of containing him. It was more of the linebackers that you had to worry about than J.J. Watt off the edge. So good job to the tackles, and nice job yesterday, O-line overall.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised Merciless didn't have a bigger game.
Yeah, then there's something in here too. I don't know how it works, but ESPN thinks that they got 3 sacks, even though they only record. Oh, okay, never mind. They're giving Merciless 2 there. That's how. Okay, missed that one. Yeah, it was a fun game. There was 13,000 people there spread around. I will tell you, if you do go to a game, there are going to be face mask Nazis everywhere. Wear your mask, people. They will run up to you and hold a sign in your face to make sure please pull your mask up. There's a lot of people that can't just do it. Whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't matter.
Now, was it wear the mask the whole time, or was it wear it until you get to your seat?
No, it's wear the mask the whole time unless you're eating or drinking. And what a lot of guys would do is pull it down and hold the cup in their hand just so they could not have to wear it. And like I said, whether you agree with it or not, we all have our opinions on it. That doesn't matter.
Right.
If you're on that property and that's what they want you to do, especially when you look at like the Titans, they just had a breakout of like 10 to 15 people or whatever. Try to keep it, I don't know. There's some guys being jerks, but overall, it was really nice. There was a decent amount of crowd noise, but I really enjoyed it because there wasn't a bunch of obnoxious drunk people beside me. And you could hear the guys talking down on the field about adjustments and I'm feeling this. I heard Adam Thielen talking to one of the coaches quite a few times. So,
I was going to say, that's actually kind of a cool experience that you could zoom in with your phone, even though you were, 9-10 rows back. But you could zoom in, and they're like right in front of you because you've got nobody directly. You don't have people directly in front of you. And being able to hear the players kind of chit-chatting and talking about shit, like, well, that's neat.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then just trying to get
you could yell. You could yell directly at them.
Oh, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of Viking fans there yesterday, and one guy had a little bit too much booze, but he's screaming out to each individual player because he can read the jersey, so he's just like yelling at them, and you could hear him laughing like, oh, God, I wish that I couldn't hear this guy, but I know I can.
Yeah.
So how weird was the artificial crowd noise?
I didn't notice it. I don't know if they had it or not. I'm not sure. You could hear, like when Harrison Smith got ejected, everybody was pissed. And then, some of the Viking fans were like, what the hell? That's a hit that happens every week, which was kind of my take on it. I don't think that it's a terrible call. I think it's bad because it's not consistent. I've seen that hit before, and it wasn't an ejection.
So do you feel it's going to be a suspension, a fine, or?
I think a fine. I don't think he's going to get suspended.
Okay.
I think you got to look at the longevity of him too. I was listening to a couple of podcasts this morning.
He doesn't really have a history of anything like that.
None. He had one his rookie year, and he apologized for it very, very promptly. And I love that Mike Zimmer went to bat for him and said, "This dude, he's a fantastic person. He's not going to go out here and try to injure people. He just wants to play football. He wants to play hard football." So, whatever. I can tell you when he left, that's the one thing that they did right. They picked on George Iloka, and for the most part, that was a smart move. He had a really good pass breakup, I believe. But other than that, he just has been out of sorts because he was unemployed last year. Did I hear that right or wrong?
George Iloka, he's also like 60 and hasn't been playing.
I thought they were going to go and tell him to go change and get Terrence Newman to come back out and take his spot with his jersey on.
The old Leslie Frazier, Benny Sapp fix.
I won't confirm or deny. No, I had to drive yesterday. I drove to Houston from here in San Antonio and back, so no boozing for me yesterday. But I had a good time. The stadium's really nice there, too.
In the chat, we had someone talk about how Cook had to work hard for his touchdowns and some of those plays. And yeah, Dalvin Cook showed great elusiveness, great power on a lot of runs. But there are also some plays where it just looked like Houston didn't want to tackle him.
You want to tackle him?
It makes me think of that Marshawn Lynch sound where it's just like, we're just running a guy over and over and over. I wouldn't want to go do that either, man. I'm sure that doesn't feel good.
When Dalvin Cook had to bounce outside for I think it was his last touchdown, and he switched arms and threw one of the weirdest little stiff arms that sent a Texans player backward flying. It looked like something that was out of like a really bad television show, just overacted.
Yeah.
Hey, I was telling you guys, you could hear them going back and forth. He was running with a purpose yesterday. They were talking a lot of crap to him early on in the game. And then, of course, that changed later because the lead kind of looked like it was going to get out of hand at one point. But Dalvin Cook had 27 carries yesterday for 130 yards. He averaged 4.8. He had a pair of touchdowns. Adam said that he would have had a third. I can agree with you there. Alexander Madison got to steal one of his touchdowns. It's like a 3-yard run in there, which is great. But Kirk Cousins only threw the ball 22 times. So when you're running the ball more than you're throwing it with a guy like that, I mean, why wouldn't you?
So, Smith, I got a question for you.
Oh, God.
Did the Vikings come out pretty much right away and through the entire game and play mostly nickel? Because other than Eric Kendricks and Eric Wilson, I didn't really see another linebacker on the field.
Yes. From what I remember.
Because, yeah, that always seemed like they had an extra defensive back out there.
I'm trying to remember who else I saw because I saw a lot of names people who were dressed, but they didn't play. I asked you guys in the chat. Sorry, I'm not trying to defer. I'm trying to bring this together, so maybe it'll help me remember who else was out. But we saw a lot of Holton Hill. Cam Dantzler was out, in and out of the lineup. Gladney had a couple of good plays and then really bad ones.
I've wondered for a while now with just how much it's a passing league, teams are throwing the ball out on the field. If it's just going to make more sense that the direction we're headed is you're going to have more defensive backs on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird because with Barr gone, Eric Kendricks and Eric Wilson seem to be just the only linebackers that are on the field now.
Yep.
And past that, they'll throw in an extra, defensive back and just see how it works. And honestly, it might work out better for pass heavy teams, but it's still strange considering that everything that Anthony Barr has done for the Vikings since he arrived, whether it's pass rushing, dropping back in coverage, or, playing the line of scrimmage for tackling. But yeah, it's a strange transition because I think Anthony Barr was the first draft pick for Mike Zimmer, right? He's been here since Zimmer got here.
Yep. 9th overall.
So it's weird seeing this defense a little bit without Anthony Barr.
Yes, Todd Davis did rotate in a little bit. They had a good rotation, and they had somebody else in there too. Nickerson, maybe? Is that his name?
Hardy Nickerson.
That's right. What a name. What a great
That's
name.
a guy.
Nickerson was out. Todd Davis rotated in and out. I couldn't tell you specifically what play who was in, but Kendrick stayed on the field as long as he could, obviously with all the tackles that he had. But Adam makes a good point. There's a lot of nickel, which is kind of scary when you think about it because there's so many young players and so many unprovens or hasn't been on a team before, George Iloka, in the last year. But you just kind of go with it. And what I liked yesterday was minus the end, which was chunk plays. I don't know why they were playing so soft and playing prevent like that, but the Vikings defense can bend and not break, even though there are some pieces that are very young.
Well, they can break. We've seen them break.
I want to word that again. They have the capability of bending and not completely breaking, but
I still don't understand how that defense just tightens up so strong at the goal line. I don't know how they do it.
It was amazing.
Because I was in the chat. I was in the Discord chat. And I was like, okay, just give him the touchdown, try to go down and score and win this game. Then if you don't score before regulation, you got overtime. Just try to do what you can. And Minnesota just tightened on up and they went for that football and they slammed the line of scrimmage. And it's been unbelievable to watch because this isn't their first time that they've done that. And they've done it against tougher competition too.
Yeah, and I just have to say the obvious again. I'll just be that guy for this show, but trading away DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, that was such a dumb fucking move. They don't, and we were talking about it before the show started. I think there's on some NFL page, maybe it was Sunday night, NBC or NFL, whatever. But the Texans are 0-4. They fired their head coach. They have $255 million, so they're pretty strapped for money. And then they're talking about at least 2 years in a row, or maybe 2 picks next year. I don't know what it was for whatever they gave it for Laramie Tunsil, and they have nothing to show for it now. And no DeAndre Hopkins. They're bad. They're really bad. Deshaun Watson looked out of sorts yesterday. He, for as athletic as he is and can do stuff with his feet, Kirk Cousins was more athletic yesterday, or more mobile, I should say. He wasn't more athletic. But the weird thing, too, is that they didn't use that to their advantage. And a lot of RPOs, I thought maybe what we would see from the Texans. But I see a lot of stuff when he's on the move, which is kind of the opposite of a guy like Russell Wilson, which you would think to compare him to. He can't throw accurately on the run for shit. And
didn't they design a 4th down run for Kirk Cousins this game?
Yeah. Yes, and
what the heck was that?
It scared the heck out of me because one, I thought he was going to get hit, and then 2, I was like, all right, Peyton Manning, you're going to dust off the old giraffe legs and run around, and he got the first down. And had he had a little more awareness, he would have gotten away from J.J. Watt and probably picked up another first down, but J.J. Watt does J.J. Watt things. But I digress.
Remember when Bill Musgrave had Christian Ponder sliding head first? That was a legitimate thing that this team decided to do. Hey, slide head first, Christian Ponder.
I remember ranting about that in our podcast.
Yeah,
I do remember ranting about that so bad.
Unless you're at the goal line trying to dive and break the plane, maybe don't do that. Concussions are bad.
Not to defend him, but come on. The incompetence all around when he was on this team.
Yeah. And they wasted so many good years of Adrian Peterson with shit quarterback play. Yeah. Digits, got to give you credit, man. That's why I'm bringing this up. We talked about this before the show started. If Miami ends up losing out, because I don't know why the hell they're not starting Tua yet, they just go ahead and try it. But if they
that's a tenthful picks.
They've got a ton of these picks, right? If they end up losing out, they don't need Trevor Lawrence. They could trade that away, as Adam said, for another king's ransom and have a shitload of first-round picks if they really wanted to. And the Bills look like they know what the hell they're doing now. So that
Bills look legit, man. We were kind of ragging on them a little bit. Or Josh Allen.
I heard a fun fact today, and I don't like doing this because I don't want to give them credit because I still don't want to admit that I might be wrong about Josh Allen like a lot of people. But based on his stats through 4 games right now, he's on pace to have over 50 total touchdowns this year, over 5,000 yards. And when that has happened, that team has went to the Super Bowl. Could you imagine Stephon Diggs and how much he's going to boast if they win a fucking Super Bowl in Buffalo?
Diggs is going to hold out and want another contract. I mean, hey, give them credit. They look legit on offense, and Diggs has been a hell of a pickup for them, which I don't think anyone ever questioned Stephon Diggs' ability on the field as being one of the top receivers in the league. No. So more power to him, man.
And congratulations to the other Diggs in Dallas, who seems to be the only good defensive player on that team.
That poor guy. Imagine being 1-2-1 and leading your division. Can the NFC East just not go to the playoffs? Oh. Such bullshit.
Yeah.
Breaking news here. Fire Breather's going to be the offensive coordinator. He says we need to do the read option against Seattle and have Cousins keep it. They won't suspect a thing. That's fantastic. Thank you for that.
Only if he can slide head first.
Could always go into the Detroit Lions practice squad and grab Joe Webb.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who were we talking about earlier today that was still in the league that we didn't know about? Oh, Golden Tate. I didn't know Joe Webb's still in the league. That's
Matt Schaub. I think Matt Schaub is still in the league, isn't he?
Holy crap.
Atlanta's backup quarterback. Fucking Matt Schaub. 2020. Come on, man.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the Survival League for a second, because that's still going.
Even though
Mr. Smith is not.
Bad year. It's a pandemic, man.
3 more eliminations this week. Aussie Viking, Baron Carnath, and Purple Rain all are gone. Several more strikes were handed out because of the Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears that couldn't get it done.
I feel terrible because someone asked me for advice, and I am like, oh, Chicago, Nick Foles, that'll be a good. I was all over that one. That was my advice. I'm like, do it. That's solid. They'll be legit with Nick Foles. Oops.
This week, I went with the Los Angeles Rams, and they had me scared for a little bit, but they were able to come back and win that game pretty handily towards the end. So I felt pretty good about that one. Right now, still undefeated. 20 people are left in the Survival League. Only 5 of them have 2 strikes, so not too bad so far. Still a lot of game left to play. Good luck to everybody still in there. And remember, we've got the 2 games this week still to come tonight. And then be sure to get your picks in for next week. Yahoo will send you an email with a reminder. So please, if you get that reminder, just go in, make a pick. It doesn't take too long. Then you can get your W's.
I wanted to bring this up to and let you finish with the Survival League stuff. Viking Jerome asks, is there any word on Danielle Hunter coming back? Well, I can tell you 2 things about that. Number one, if you watched his social media this weekend, he was riding around Times Square. Obviously, he's not healthy enough to play, so he's enjoying some time in New York City. And you don't know what's going on. You say, well, why the hell is he in New York City? He's getting a second opinion because there's apparently speculation. Haven't heard an official statement on this yet, but Twitterland says there's a herniated disc in his neck and will require what is likely to be season-ending surgery. So probably not coming back. Now the Ngakoue trade seems like it makes more sense. Yeah, so this is Digit says it in here. So I went to the doc up in New York. That's the doc for the New York Giants. Probably out for the year, which is a super blow to the defense, but this is what it is. The positive in that, if there is one at all, Yannick Ngakoue is starting to look better each and every game, and I like that a lot. So that's cool.
He just needs some reps to get acclimated with the team and get out there, and he'll be fine.
I'm not ready to come out and say that this Viking season is a wash. So the Vikings are actually going to be all right to let their young players grow and develop. And that having Danielle Hunter out there would sure be fun to watch as a fan.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Would Danielle Hunter added to this team make this team a 10-11 win team? I don't think so.
At this point, I don't think so. If he was ready to go week 1, maybe. I'll say it. You won't say it, but I'll say it. I don't see, and if there was ever a season where I hope the Vikings make me eat my words, I hope it's this one. But they're 1-3, and they have a brutal schedule coming up. Brutal. This team's not making the playoffs. I don't think Mike Zimmer is going to get fired, but we'll see depending on the win situation. But there's just too much youth to overcome all the stuff that we've lost. And you got a star like Danielle Hunter being out. It's not going to happen. They're not going to make the playoffs, and it's as scheduled. We made the playoffs last year. That's how this team works, right?
It's every other year, right? It's not like, neck injury is not a thing that you want to rush anyone back from ever. So there's no. I don't even want to say, well, we make the playoffs if he was on the field. That's not fair because it's a neck injury.
Right.
That's not a thing that you want to rush someone back on the field for. That can be career threatening. That could be life threatening. Adam, we're both WWE guys. You see what happens with neck injuries. You see guys like Daniel Bryan. You see guys like Edge who are out for long periods of time, and then when they do come back, have to drastically change their style in the ring because of neck injuries.
True. Stone Cold might actually still be wrestling if not for his neck injury.
Yeah, right. Perfect example of it right there. So you don't want to see Daniil Hunter rushed back onto the field at all. You want to see him take the time. If he needs surgery, get it done correctly, and rehab the shit out of that until he's 100% and can come back on the field.
Yeah, we see the same thing with Mike Hughes, and I like what I've seen from Mike Hughes when he's healthy. He still has more room to grow and develop, make some mistakes, learn from them. But anytime there's a neck injury, you got to play that as safe as possible.
Yeah.
It's not like an ACL where that's going to heal no matter what, and it's going to heal back pretty close to 100% with today's technology, and you can rehab it pretty well without having to worry about it. Necks are different.
We know how to rehab ACLs. We do a lot of ACLs, and all that stuff is like and the NFL does a lot of that.
ACL, PCL, MCL, Achilles tears.
Yeah.
Those happen. But those muscles heal pretty quick. A disc in your neck, a little different.
Yeah, not so much.
There's a lot of comments, too, about that I've seen on Twitter or Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It's guys that, this isn't something that just athletes get. People get herniated discs all the time, but a lot of people saying these are painful, too. Like, can't imagine having to go through that with how much, because getting to see it and be reminded in person yesterday of these guys just bashing each other's brains in. There's no way you can play with a herniated disc. And Fire Breather, I'm not going to pick on you. I love you because you're faithful to the show, but I want to not call you out, but I want to call the Vikings fans out for this. If Hunter is out for the year, it must have been a really bad tweak, referencing the Mike Zimmer stuff. I'm going to defend Mike Zimmer on this because if he's still out getting a second opinion, Zimmer knows more than we do. The Vikings know more than we do, but you wouldn't want to tell everybody he's going to be done for the season and then maybe he gets to come back. Or why would you give the other teams an advantage on that? I don't think that they really knew it was this freaking bad. They had optimism that he was going to come back, but if we're putting the pieces together as we've seen from the little information that has leaked out, he's probably not coming back this year.
No, I
don't see why they would say give out any of that information until officially time anyways. But hopefully we just want the dude to be healthy because he's on track to just blow a bunch of records out of the books and be here for a long time. He's only 25, so he's still got a lot of football left to play. But
to be perfectly honest, I still don't even understand why the NFL allows the media to ask questions about players, whether or not they're injured. Like, I don't know about you guys, but
isn't that what the injury reports are for?
That's what injury reports are for, and like, my job isn't allowed to discuss if I get hurt.
Doctor-patient confidentiality?
Yeah, like, so why do we allow Chris Tomlinson allowed to ask Mike Zimmer personal questions about Anthony Barr or Daniil Hunter or any of these other guys, their medical history? Like, yeah, let me open up their medical history for fucking Chris Tomlinson to discuss here. Like, that's not really, I know we're all fans of the team, but it's not, Mike Zimmer doesn't have to say anything else other than he got a tweak. What do we want him to say? What do we expect here? I don't know.
Chris Tomlinson is an ass pimple. Nobody likes ass pimples. He's that little pimple on the inside of the crack of your ass that just won't go away. I watch his Twitter feed, and I don't understand why he has to come off the way he comes off. He's very snarky, very much a smart ass.
That's media today. People love that.
Hate that shit, man. Trying to get clicks all the time, but whatever.
There's a reason why Tom Pelissero was the guy who was with the national media, and Chris Tomlinson is the guy still asking stupid dipshit questions for the Vikings.
That's very true. We'll run down a couple of these things here just to give highlights for that stuff. Kirk had a good day, 127 rating, almost a 70 QBR. No turnovers, which was really nice. We mentioned Dalvin Cook. There's 162 total rushing yards yesterday from the team. Thielen and Jefferson both had over 100 yards. Thielen had a touchdown catch. Dan Chisena with a fumble recovery on special teams. That happened right in front of me. That's a weird thing that I saw, too, yesterday. Chad Beebe's back. Tajay Sharp is what I would consider to be a healthy scratch, I believe. I didn't hear any injury news about that, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Defensively, Eric Kendricks led the way. We said 12 total tackles, 7 by himself, a pass defense. Yannick Ngakoue, 5 solo tackles, a quarterback hit, and a sack. DJ Wanham had a sack yesterday, which was really nice. No interceptions. That's all right. Dan Bailey 1 of 2 on goals, 4 for 4 on extra points, and Britton Colquitt only punted 4 times.
Adam Thielen made an extra point, according to ESPN. The ESPN app.
Can we hold on, I'm going to bring this up and share this in the screen here. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
can you
so
share
good.
that?
Yeah, just give me a couple minutes because the computer's being super slow, but we'll get that brought up.
Yeah, I was at work following the game on my phone, and yeah, I had to take a screenshot of this one. They credited Adam Thielen for kicking an extra point, and I thought that was pretty good stuff.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be honest with each other here. Week 5 coming up. Vikings at Seahawks. None of us are expecting a win, right?
No.
Excuse me. We play historically
Tired.
bad against, not against, in Chicago, pretty bad most of the time. And since Russell Wilson got to town, I don't think the Vikings have beat him one time. So, no, I don't expect to win at all. And it's not like their defense is something to write home about, but we have rookie corners and young corners. And DK Metcalf looks like a gigantic defensive end playing wide receiver.
Like he's the size of Anthony Barr, only he's a wide receiver.
He's really huge. And Russell Wilson has the escapability to do that. And the running back's not bad. Chris Carson's a good running back. So, no, I don't think it's going to be close, honestly.
I can't believe I even have to say this, but Russell Wilson is somehow still underrated as a quarterback. Dude's playing MVP level. He has been for a long time. Somehow doesn't get the credit he deserves for being as good as what he is. I don't ever want to play Russell Wilson in Seattle. Ever. No. Don't get it.
No fans in the stands either. They're still going to have a great advantage. And he, like you said, he's still one of the most underrated. He may be up there for me as one of the best, if not the best quarterback I've ever seen. I know we said it with Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes, but the dude doesn't make shitty decisions, which is amazing. And he's mobile enough to where he'll make a defense look stupid. He plays backyard football when I see him play backyard football style, but he does it the best I've ever seen. And I don't think that the Vikings have an answer for that. Yeah. So there's that. But this should make you guys laugh because I can't believe that people at ESPN got paid. We're going to go ahead and share this with everyone. You guys can see that on the screen. So that's Dan Bailey making an extra point, who looks an awful lot like Adam Thielen, the wide receiver.
Looks a little bit like Adam Thielen.
A little bit.
So save that one and put that in the record books, man, because apparently the Vikings got 3 sacks yesterday, even though they only have 2 in the column. And then this is Dan Bailey. So I just wanted to make sure we share that with you guys.
Adam Thielen, undrafted. Did you guys know he's undrafted?
Wait, not in my fantasy league.
Guys that are undrafted, did he have to pay by chance to go to the combine and get noticed?
Maybe it might have been $500 that he had to pay. I haven't heard this. I kind of wish they would talk about it occasionally.
Ooh, I didn't see some of these comments. These are good to talk about. It's a little boring at how Kendricks is this good. No, it's not. I love watching him play. He is a monster. And
I'll admit, I'm getting a little tired talking about how good he is, but I'm fine with it because I'll just keep saying it.
He's one of those that you don't know what you've got till it's gone, and I hope it's not gone for a while. Do you think we blitz more versus Russell? I know we sacked Watson, but our pass rush is still pretty trash. They had good pressure, man. Like Afadi yesterday. Afadi was getting so close to getting a sack yesterday, but he just couldn't get there, or Watson got it off or made a good move. He got away from Yannick Ngakoue yesterday, and I don't know how the hell it happened. I don't think blitzing Russell Wilson is a smart idea.
No.
I don't. I think what you should do for this game, this is me being the coach like Firebird was earlier. I think you double team the shit out of DK Metcalf, and you just, I don't know, maybe you switch it to zone a little bit. I don't know how you beat that guy. He's too good. He can thread a needle like nobody's business too. And they still have Tyler Lockett, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't sleep on him either. He's a playmaker.
So what do? You try to blitz Russell Wilson. He extends plays with his legs, and he'll make a big play either down the field or he will run all over you. I think you really are going to have to ask a lot from the young Vikings corners. They're going to have to be spot on in coverage, and we're going to have to hope for some coverage sacks. Like, we need the back end to hold up so that we can get our front four to get pressure and make some sacks and make some plays right there. That's what we're going to ask. We're asking a lot from this young defense.
Pressure's either got to get there or the coverage has to be tight. Those two things can help each other out in a big way, and lately we're not seeing a lot of either of it, but hopefully it can start coming together.
I will say this: if last year was any indication, they did have a great game against Seattle. There was even a point, I think, where they led in the game, which is not what usually happens against Russell Wilson. It's usually pretty much a blowout. Would it surprise me if they won the game? Probably, but it would be a typical Vikings thing to do, is to look like shit for 3 games and then somehow beat the Seahawks in Seattle. But I personally don't think they're going to beat Seattle. I think they're humming along, and they're doing they're going to be one of the powerhouses in the NFC along with Green Bay, but we'll see. Anything's possible.
Going to hope for a Vikings win. I always hope for a Vikings win.
Sure.
There's always hope.
But yeah, the tradition continues. That's pretty much all I have for the game yesterday. And we're kind of talking about the Seahawks now. But so far, people from the Purple People podcast going to games. The Vikings are undefeated. So
yeah, I'm 9-0. What are you guys?
2-0.
1-0.
That's right.
That's a dozen.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
If I wasn't in this course down here, I would try to make it out to more. And maybe if Minnesota would allow it, I could finally see U.S. Bank. But I'm here till Thanksgiving, and then the holidays are right around the corner, so I doubt that's going to happen. But that's cool, though. It was a good experience. I'm glad I got to see the Vikings win. Kind of figured that they would probably squeak out a win. It was about that time, but Houston, got to give a good shout-out to those people. They were nice. The stadium's nice. They were so nice as to let Dalvin Cook run up and down the field the whole game.
All right, so I'm going to give a shout-out to the Viking Age because we're putting out a lot of really great articles over there about the Minnesota Vikings, and I think our team over there does a fantastic job of keeping up with everything that's going on. You can come play some video games with me on Twitch. I haven't been on there in a while because I haven't been feeling too good. That and my voice has kind of been struggling a little bit. I've been having some throat problems, so I'm kind of moving on from that for a little while now, but I will be back soon. I do want to talk about Undead Walking, though, because Sunday was episode 1016 of The Walking Dead, and that was a big one. Now we wait for more episodes from the flagship show. But World Beyond premiered on Sunday, and that was a very good episode. Then we got Fear the Walking Dead coming back on Sunday, and new issues of The Walking Dead Deluxe, which is a colorized version of The Walking Dead comics, with extra information from the cutting room floor of the comics. So that should be a lot of fun. A lot of good stuff coming up there. And if you're a fan of AMC's zombie shows or the comics, please check out Undead Walking. And I'd appreciate it if you could support me on all those places, because that's how I pay my bills.
You guys should support Adam. He does a lot of cool stuff. I've got to jump in and kind of dabble in some of the stuff that he does too. Definitely check the Viking Age a lot. I've seen a couple of his things popping up on Twitch. I made a Twitch just so I could help him out. So if you could take 5 minutes out and download Twitch and follow him, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. You know who else would appreciate stuff? Kyle West.
I would. You should check out my photography work using the link down below upon the screen, right down here. I have all kinds of cool stuff put up. I do have some Purple People podcast merchandise. If you guys want to help support me and support the show a little bit, you can sure do that. As well as all my other photography work is up there as well, too. So you might see something you like, and it is the gift-giving season, or at least it will be soon. And I always say you should shop local, support local. Walmart don't need your help. Amazon don't need your help.
Facts.
They don't. But right now in particular, with COVID and the shutdowns and everything, So yeah, support your small business. Support your local artists and anyone who's independent. Anyone like Adam or myself who's trying to do this on our own. Right now is the perfect time to do so. So check it out. Use the link down there. You might see something you like. Even if you just think it's cool and you want to share it on social media for your other followers. And anything helps like that. So
I will
give it a look and see.
I will kind of piggyback on that for you guys that are still watching. If you want to check out Kyle West's stuff down here, I bought recently 2 things from his website for the show so I can start wearing them. One's actually on the way. It might take about a week or so to get ready, and that's not Kyle's fault. COVID happened, and it's an online thing. But if you want to hop on that now, you'll definitely get it. The sooner you hop on and purchase it, the quicker that you'll get it. But you'll see it probably next episode or definitely by the one after that. I'll be wearing some Purple People Podcast merch and showing it off. I believe it was a long sleeve and a short sleeve. So, like you said, just in time for the holidays.
Yeah.
I have nothing to promote because I'm boring. I just wanted to give myself a shout out, and I don't care how shallow or weird this sounds. But I got my diploma last week. I got my bachelor's degree, and I went to the game to kind of like trick myself from getting that. So I'm just waiting on it to get framed. But if you guys are in school or you ever want to go back, if I can do it, I promise to God you can do it as well. I got like a 71 in every single class, and guess what? It doesn't show up on the diploma. So
nice.
These get degrees, babies. But yeah, thank you to everybody that joined in. Man, we had a lot. Viking Jerome, Fire Breather, Digits was in here, Dave Hickey, Aline. I know Sean was in here as well. There's a lot of people that join in. Skull Prod always comes in with good stats. Appreciate it.
It's always nice to talk positive after a win. It's always nice.
It sure is.
So next week we're not going to have very many people in here, but
hey, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
That is true. That's definitely true. But on that note, thanks again to everyone for interacting with us on social media, for joining us in the chat, for liking, sharing, subscribing, telling their friends about the podcast. All that helps us a lot, and we really do appreciate it. And remember to stay classy, Minnesota.